What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_Access. I just love that everybody is calling AFAM's mama in there. It just cracks me up every time I see it, man. I never thought such a simple tweak to a YouTube profile will bring me so much joy, but somebody's crushing it. We got Jacob joining us here from Wisconsin. Obviously, I'm down here in Tennessee and got a lot of stuff to cover, Jacob. Camp's opening up tomorrow, man. Really, really excited about it. What we're going to hit tonight is we got a new kicker signing. You guys know we kind of hit on this a little bit last night that with Alex Hill being injured, having the eye injury, they'll probably go sign somebody. Not a huge transaction, but definitely something just kind of keep our eye on. Also, Jordan Love, where he falls on the top 100 list. Really excited about diving into that. We've got 5 camp battles, and if we have time, we'll get to the Zach Tom cap projections. So we're starting to get a little more information come down the pike here from the Zach Tom contract situation. So if this is your first time watching PTA, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Hit like, hit subscribe. We're not insiders here. We're not experts. We're not media members. What we are is just fans, just like you, out here talking Packers, breaking down all the ifs and ands, and trying to get down to the bottom of everything that's going on around the Green Bay Packers. So we'll be live all year long throughout training camp, pre-game shows, post-game shows. We'll be doing film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. We appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. Jacob, you ready to dive into this content, man?
Sure am. Yeah, you said the ifs and the ands. You forgot about the buts, and that's what was stuck on the poll, guys. I apologize. That was my fault.
So. Just getting caught up with the chat as I sat down on my chair here. Unbelievable. It's so unhinged. So let's jump into this.
Don't leave me alone with the chat, man.
Oh, I'm telling you. And I may have to step away. If I do, I'm always terrified to come back into the room and go, okay, what did they do? What happened? So as we've got Tim joining us now, he'll be in here in a second. So obviously we talked about the Will Sheppard signing right before camp yesterday, the wide receiver from Vandy and Colorado. Now we've got a kicker on board, and it's Mark. I don't know how you would say that name there, Jacob. I'm going to say Mark McAnamy. Does that sound right? Maybe
I'd say McNamee.
McNamee. All right, got it.
Yeah.
So he is a rookie, a kicker, 6'4", 208. Big old boy, right? Joins the Packers as part of the NFL's International Player Pathway Program. The Ireland native comes to Green Bay after spending the last month with the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League. Would you say McNamee, right? McNamee participated in the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. He was a goalkeeper in Gaelic football for Ballyboden St. Indas, maybe, in Dublin, Ireland. McAnamy will wear number 41 for the Packers. Now, listen, there's absolutely zero chance this cat beats out McManus for the kicker spot, right? But it's nice to have an extra leg in camp, and it might be something where there's a little bit of precedent where he may just stash him on the practice squad or keep him around just long enough for hopefully Alex Hill to get that eye straightened out. So hopefully that's nothing that's career-threatening in that regard. So, again, not huge news, but got another kicker in camp. We knew it was just a matter of time before we made that happen. You guys want to add anything to that?
I like what Prince has to say. He says 2 Irishmen in the special teams group. I want to party with those guys. Definitely. We've got kind of our own replacement style kicking squad going on right here.
We got to check though. McManus might have some Irish in it too, though. I mean, there might be 3. There might be 3 in that room. You know, You never know.
Yeah, and should probably keep my mouth shut, but he's got a history for being able to booze a little bit, I believe. If you guys remember, he got himself in trouble, I think, before. But anyway, we won't worry.
Nobody's listening anyway.
There you go. Appreciate that, Bob. All right, let's dive into some of the news of the day. Really excited about this. Isn't it amazing how there were a certain amount of people that were saying Rashawn Gary's a bum, Jordan Love's a bum. I mean, literally, Bears fans, Lions fans, Vikings fans have spent the last 2 years calling Jordan Love a bum, right?
Could be a crackhead who got hold to the wrong stuff.
He was number 34 on the top 100 last year. Obviously, this year, everybody was talking about how he took a huge step back, right? Battling with the 3 injuries. They typically, the people who say he took a huge step back don't like to mention the knee injury, the elbow injury, as well as the groin injury. But, bang, the players voted him number 68 on the top 100 list here for going into 2025. I don't know how you can be a bum and there only be 67 other people on the face of the planet that's considered a better football player than you by your peers. I want to get your all's initial reaction. Do you feel like that's too high, too low? How do y'all feel about it? We'll start with you, Jacob. What do you think about him coming in at number 68?
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like that's fair, honestly. With the kind of turbulent start that Jordan Love has had to his Packer career, we've seen a lot of highs, we've seen some lows, and we've seen a lot of mediocre. I think that what they see in this list here is that he has potential. He has a ceiling that I think is untapped, and I think we're going to see it this year.
Go ahead, Tim.
J Money, number 10. He only throws dimes. I've said it before. I think this is fair for right now. I would think by this time next year, this list comes out, he's probably well inside the top 50, maybe top 40. But I agree with Jacob, man. I think this is pretty accurate for right now where he's at in his career.
Yeah. Jim H in the chat says Love is top 5. All right. And again, I'm not quite there with him being considered top 5. I love the enthusiasm around it there, Jim. Like, I hope you're correct. I hope he's top 3. I hope he's the best in the league. The back half of 2023, we've talked about it a lot. And that span, I don't think anybody played better football than him those last 8 to 9 games of the season, right? Now, the step back last year, obviously, us following the Packers pretty closely, it's the injuries that played a huge role in how they had to operate the offense and how often he could go under center and run play action and all those things. So really, really excited to see where he falls. If I had to put him somewhere right now, I would definitely say top 10 would be the range I would put him in. But I don't think it would take much in terms of him getting back to where he was at the end of 2023 before people were talking about him in the top 3 or top 5 for sure. Let's look at some of the other numbers outside of the ranking there. So PFF ranks him 20th in terms of their offensive grade, right? They gave him a 75.8. Now you look at that and go, okay, that seems, significantly lower. When you look at the names on this list, I think a lot of the names above him are better quarterbacks than him, and they're probably going to be on the top 100 list. But there's a few on here that I would say probably won't make the top 100. Nonetheless, you got Lamar Jackson 1, Joe Burrow 2, Josh Allen 3, Justin Herbert 4, Jaden Daniels 5, Baker Mayfield 6, Derek Carr 7. Right. So the fact that they think Derek Carr was the 7th highest graded quarterback in the league, pretty mind-boggling to me, to be honest with you. Patrick Mahomes 8, Geno Smith 9. Right. Brock Purdy 10, Kyler Murray 11, Jalen Hurts 12, Sam Darnold 13, CJ Stroud 14, Russell Wilson 15, right?
Who?
Jared Goff 16, Bo Nix 17, Aaron Rodgers 18, Trevor Lawrence 19, and then of course Jordan Love in the 20 spot. Now, how you can be ranked the 20th best quarterback, and then let me read off some of these numbers to you. He was 12th in passer rating, which you guys know. I think that's a pretty good gauge on how efficient a quarterback is, right? A lot of things go into play there. Protecting the football in terms of the touchdown to interception ratio, a lot of different metrics that go into that kind of gives you just a broad look at how good a quarterback is. He finished with a 96.7 passer rating. Above him on that list is only Jaden Daniels, Derek Carr, Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, Justin Herbert, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson. Notice Russell Wilson had a lower passer rating there than Jordan Love on that list. Kyler Murray as well, So when you even Pat Mahomes finished with a 93.5, right? So I don't know. Does that make sense, guys? It just feels like PFF is quite a bit lower on Jordan Love than some of the other metrics would suggest.
I agree. Can you scroll back up to the first list here, the main list? Because the thing that stands out to me is, I'm sorry, but like no day of the week, no planet in the solar system am I taking Trevor Lawrence over Jordan Love. It's just not happening. I'm not taking Bo Nix over Jordan Love. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right. At least to this point, right?
To this point, yeah. I mean, there's a handful of other names on this list that are astoundingly high rank that it's kind of shocking, honestly. So I think this is primed for Jordan Love to come out and have the kind of year that puts him in the top 10 when we look at this next year, and we see this list going into the 2026 season. So again, a little unfair, but par for the course, I think, for Jordan to be hanging around that top 18 to 20 range based on PFS numbers, whatever whatever the hell those are, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I want to give a shout out to Greg in the chat who became a member here on. There it is. All right, Greg in the chat became a member on YouTube, so we'll make sure you're entered into the giveaways. Anybody who's a YouTube member or a member of our Patreon group, appreciate you, Greg. Thank you for supporting the channel. Moving along to another statistic, EPA per dropback, Jacob. Right, expected points added per dropback, one of those advanced metrics. He finished 13th there, so that 13th obviously a lot closer to that 12th in passer rating than the 20th, grade ranking according to PFF. But nonetheless, he finished 13th in EPA per dropback. Jordan Love did, and that was actually a stat that fell in at a plus 0.07. Battling those 3 injuries, still having a positive EPA per dropback, ranking you 13th in the league. Pretty impressive. You'd like to think him being healthy, probably top 10 is a slam dunk.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw a chat. Let's see, Coach Len. No, not that one. Am I delayed?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob. You're good, man.
Yeah, I mean, like Tim kind of said, you look at the groupings around him, and certain players, I believe, just Jordan Love is just head and shoulders above them. I really do think that he's going to take a step, and the biggest thing is the injuries. I mean, this guy has played through so many injuries that I know it's the old adage, when healthy. I hate that term. Everybody hates that term, but the thing is that Jordan Love, just when he's firing, he is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, completely agree. So, with that being said, moving on to now yards per pass attempt, 5th in yards per pass attempt. And this is kind of that, how dangerous is a quarterback, right? Every time they drop back and throw the football, what are they averaging? Now, again, it doesn't mean they're completing every pass. Obviously, this is just you take all of the attempts, right? And then you get all of the yards and you average it out. He's averaging 8 yards per pass attempt this season. Really, really impressive there, guys. That puts him 5th best in the league. Tim, the only people above him in this statistic he's actually tied for 4th when you think about it. Jalen Hurts at number 4, Brock Purdy 3, Jared Goff 2, and then, of course, Lamar Jackson in 1st there. Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, was, 4 spots below, really 5 spots below Jordan Love on this list, man.
Yeah, man, this is the company I like to see him in, right? You see some elite talent here. He's in good company. I don't see Fabio on this list. You guys see Fabio on this list? So I'm just, I love it. Tied for 4th with the guy that just helped his team win a Super Bowl. I'll take it. I think Jordan's right on track, man.
Yeah, he did make the list, Tim. He's 17th, actually.
Oh, 17th, way down there. There he is.
So again, when you look at some of the other statistics that we feel like is important when it comes to talking about the quarterback position, he was 5th in yards per pass attempt. And get ready to go, Jacob. We'll try to time up this delay here, man. 5th in yards per pass attempt. We got 13th in EPA per dropback, 12th in passer rating, but PFF graded him out as the 20th best quarterback. Anything else you want to add to the Jordan Love talk there, Jacob?
Maybe just a little bit. Ryan's podcast today, he talked about Jalen Hurts and how the big media, like the ESPN, is talking about how he's so underrated because he was ranked, I believe, like 9th or something like that on some sort of list that the coaches and analysts came out with. And he did a really good job of breaking down that sometimes wins gets overshadowed. Super Bowls get overshadowed. Pro Bowls, or I should say maybe they put too much stock into those things. And you take a quarterback like Jordan Love, and if you just put him on a certain team, like let's put him on the Eagles, and then he made the point, let's put Jalen Hurts on the Packers. Do you think that Jalen Hurts is going to have the same type of success? Because I don't. I think that Jordan Love would have much more success in Philadelphia just because he kind of got training wheels on him for what they ask him to do as a quarterback. So, these numbers need to be taken with a grain of salt, I would argue.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Anything else on it, Tim? We good?
No, I think we're good. I like that graphic right there. Shout out to the Packers graphic design team, man. That's phenomenal. Love it.
Which, by the way, I've seen some people in the chat talk. I think it was Coach Lynn talking about the new locker room looks sick.
Oh,
Did you guys see that video the Packers posted, Jacob?
Yeah, you pull up my Twitter if you can, Clay. I said it's going to look real nice when we're hoisting that George Halas trophy on our way to bringing the Vince Lombardi trophy home. New locker room's going to look real good during that post-game interview, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's move it along. You know what? Let's which direction would y'all like to go? Do you want to go 5 camp battles heading into training camp, or would you rather talk a little projecting Zach Tom's cap allocation? What would y'all like to hit? Top 5. All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's Camp Miss Eve, so we've got to.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Let's go.
It's nuts, man. Nuts. So here's what I want you guys to do in the comments for me. You can do it on live stream, but if you're watching later, throw in the comments too. Let us know if there's a camp battle we end up missing on this list. Okay. And these are 5 that I'm not saying, 1 through 5, this is the ranking of them. I just put a list of 5 together. It's the first thing that come to mind for me. Typically that's the correct answer in terms of a person's opinion. Don't take time to think about it. What's the first thing that comes to mind? You know what I mean? So these are 5 camp battles I think are important going into Packers training camp. As the Green Bay Packers kick off training camp, several position battles will shape their 2025 roster. Here are the top 5 competitions to watch. All right, number 1 is left tackle. I think it's between Rasheed Walker and Jordan Morgan. And it's really, really strange, right? Because Rasheed Walker, most people see him as one of the top tackles in the game. We've been very vocal in saying, hey, look, he's an excellent pass blocker. His run blocking leaves a little bit to be desired there. Now, who's to say that Jordan Morgan can play the left tackle position better than Rasheed Walker? But you won't really know until you kind of get into camp and let that battle ensue. I'm considering this a camp battle because Brian Bulaga, Mark Tauscher, they keep talking about it as if they're hearing behind the scenes that this is going to be an actual battle. So Rasheed Walker's been a reliable starter at left tackle for 2 seasons now, right? However, the 2024 first-round pick, Jordan Morgan, who played only 6 games as a rookie due to a shoulder injury, is challenging for the spot. Morgan's versatility and draft pedigree as a first-round pick make this a heated battle to protect Jordan Love's blind side. I want to get your all's take on it. Do y'all feel like that's a legit camp battle? Do you think it's something that, Rasheed Walker, he's going to have to do a lot of negative to lose that battle, Jacob? Or do you think it's like, hey, this is legit? They're actually going to be playing for this position in camp?
Man, honestly, I think what they would do is give Morgan as much chance to see if he has some potential. If he maybe plays really well in preseason, he starts showing out really well in camp, kind of justifying what I think the front office wants to do is to not pay Walker if they don't have to. I think that's why they invested so much in Belton, in Morgan, and even guys like Williams. I think like Holmes is saying, it's Walker's job to lose, but I think they want, if they could put their finger on the scale and just, sprinkle some fairy dust over Morgan and have him be the starter, I think they do it just for cap's sake.
Yeah, 100% agree with that statement. And I don't think Sheed's going to just lay down and give it up that easy.
He doesn't just lay down. Remember?
Yeah, he lays it down, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but like to Clayton's point, Jordan Morgan, played left tackle, most of his collegiate career, right? But playing left tackle, yeah, okay, so great. Like playing left tackle at the University of Arizona is a hell of a lot different than doing it in the National Football League, and we haven't seen it yet. So I do think if he steps up and blows Sheed out of the water, then yeah, I mean, you got to consider it, right? Like Jacob's saying, cap implications looking ahead. But at the end of the day, we've got tape for hours from last season and really, quite frankly, the year before of Rasheed Walker just crushing it at left tackle. So
right.
It's going to be a tough battle, but I would agree, Clayton, that's certainly on the offensive side of the ball. I think, aside from the wide receiver battles, maybe that left tackle, O-line kind of battles that we're going to see, that's definitely at the top of the list.
Yeah, Holmes in the chat said it's Walker's job to lose. Alex T says Jordan Morgan's more of a guard than a tackle to me. I love what Bungie Chedderbug says. I actually hope Morgan wins so they don't have to pay Walker. Let Walker walk his to a nice comp pick. I don't know.
I'm sure this guy feels the same way.
Yeah. So, and this is, listen, I think that's what they're doing here, fellas. I think it's like, hey, let's give Jordan Morgan an opportunity to win that job. And if he does, even kind of like what Jacob was saying, I'll take it a step further. Even if he doesn't win the job, they get a good look at Jordan Morgan at left tackle and go, we're okay with that next year. Let's let Sheed play this contract out, let him walk in free agency, move on. Now, for the right price, who knows though, man? We may be surprised tomorrow morning, wake up and there's a contract on the table for Sheed to be signed for 10 to 15 milli. right? That could happen.
Pay that man his money.
No, Tim, we are not paying that man his money. But it's going to be interesting to see because there's a little bit of precedent for not paying that many offensive linemen. You got Elton Jenkins on a big deal. You've got Zach Tom on a huge deal now. I say huge. It's very, very – I feel like it's very team-friendly in my opinion. You've also – so you got Elton Jenkins, you got Zach Tom, and you got Aaron Banks. So it's like, are we really going to pay a fourth offensive lineman top money? Now, there has been a little bit of a trend across the league, but in terms of precedent with what Brian Gutekunst has done in the past, I don't think there's enough there. So we'll see. Ron Sample says, seems risky to me to take Walker out for an inexperienced guy this year. That's a great point too, Ron. It's a great
– Here's considering, look at what she did since Bakhtiari left. I mean, we had, like the elite of the elite at left tackle for a long period of time. And for Rasheed Walker to step in and do what he did the past couple seasons is pretty impressive, in my opinion.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things that if they were to switch to Jordan Morgan, let's say Jordan Morgan beats him out in camp for left tackle, and now Rasheed becomes a swing tackle. Well, if Jordan Morgan does start to struggle, guess what? Sheed's still there. Yeah, that's why I'm definitely not in the camp of trading him. You know what I mean? Unless it's a second or a third round pick, something like that, obviously. So keep him around, solidify that offensive line. All right, let's move it along now to the second camp battle that we mentioned here, and that's for slot cornerback. It's going to be Javon Bullard versus Nate Hobbs. You see that title and you go, what are you smoking, Clayton? You really think they're going to set Nate Hobbs on the bench for Javon Bullard? No, hear me out here. Second round pick Javon Bullard, who bounced between safety and slot last season, faces veteran Nate Hobbs for the nickel role. Hobbs, a free agent addition, has experience inside but may shift outside, intensifying the competition. Bullard's versatility could give him an edge if he adapts quickly. All right, so here's what could potentially play out. It's kind of like a three-way battle, if you will, right? Or really a four-way battle, because your cornerback room is Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and then you got, of course, Javon Bullard is also a slot guy. If Javon Bullard comes out, Jacob, and he just balls out, right, and wins that nickel spot, then you just kick Nate Hobbs outside, let him play out there. You still got your free agent money on the field, and now it's going to be something where it's going to be probably Javon Bullard in the slot and the nickel, Nate Hobbs on one side, and now the camp battle, in my opinion, becomes Carrington Valentine versus Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon's contract is nowhere near Nate Hobbs, so you could justify putting him in the rotation and starting Carrington Valentine over him and Nate Hobbs opposite. So, again, Jacob, to me, this feels like it could potentially be a camp battle, and the main reason, man, that's a second-round pick out there, guys. This isn't like it's a sixth-round pick or a fifth-round pick. You just sit on the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you guys know that I'm a giant fan of Javon Bullard. I'm nowhere near ready to give up on him, his talents, or what he brings to this table. I just am very excited. Again, this is probably maybe my personal favorite camp battle, just because I need to understand how this cornerback room's hierarchy is going to fall. And I don't think that that's anything that anybody knows until maybe week 3 of preseason going into the regular season, because there's going to be so many variables. Injuries could be a thing, whether or not one of the young guys like a Kalen King or Micah Robinson comes out of nowhere and just surprises people. If Nixon can actually come out of his shell, I just really believe that. And I need Nate Hobbs to do well. I want him. I really do have a feeling that, we've talked about it in the past, how good he doesn't fire from the hip when he's making these free agent signings. He seems to have a very meticulous way of sorting out kind of the diamonds in the rough, if you will. And I'd say that he hits on like 80% of these guys. So this to me is going to be one. Tim, I don't know if we'd see much of Bullard and Hobbs in week 3 in that preseason game that I'm going to be going to with Mr. Tim in Green Bay against Seattle. But that's got to be what, I wonder how many of these battles we'll actually see come to fruition in week 3. But
by then we could see Keyshawn locking down the slot spot again, and right. Hobbs battling for the outside. Like who knows? I'm with you, Jacob, but I'm rooting for Bull all day. We all know that his strong suit is playing slot. Period. Point blank. I would love to see him develop and have that versatility to really be an effective, safety, whether that's post or not. But I just think him competing for that slot spot that's legitimate, I think, honestly. If you look at how he performed last year, and then Nate Hobbs, we've talked about him. He can play there, he can play on the boundary. It might better suit us for Nate Hobbs to be a boundary corner. Who knows? I think that's what this time of year is for, right? Starting tomorrow, we're going to start to get some of these answers as camp progresses, for sure.
I love what Coach Lynn says. I was just going to say, I love what Coach Lynn says. Bull could be the biggest surprise of camp. You never know. Could be. He could end up being that player we thought he was going to be. Jacob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so sorry. That's what I was going to kind of bounce off of is if Coach Lynn is correct, which I really hope he is, what do you see the Packers front office sees as more valuable, being that do you take your chance on the second round pick because you've invested a ton of draft capital, or you just paid a lot of actual cap money to a guy like Nate Hobbs? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if one of the two, they've got them, let's say they've got the boundary figured out. The guys are playing on the outside. Keyshawn's shutting it down. Kalen King, somebody, you know what I mean? They're like, these guys are starting on the outside. If you had to choose between the two, the front office, what do you think if they're going to be whispering in Matt LaFleur's ear or Hafley's ear? Which of the two do you think is worth more to them? Is it the money that they paid Hobbs or the fact that they invested a second round draft pick in Bullard? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, it's real simple. Like, what you've got in Nate Hobbs is really a 1 to 2 year deal. Let's just call it a 2 year deal. So you got 2 years to let Javon Bullard kind of come along.
In the automotive world, they call that a lease with the option to buy.
Right. I think that's correct. Yeah. So, I think that's kind of what they're thinking, Jacob, is listen, if Bull takes a step forward that we think he can, great. We'll kick Nate Hobbs outside. Bull takes over the slot, right? But if Bullard continues to kind of, I don't want to say struggle, but not live up to that second round talent in year 2, there's still time. There's some players that Trey Hendrickson, everybody's absolutely head over heels for right now. He didn't pop until year 3, right? That's when he popped. If people had looked at his numbers, his stats, his grades, everything, years 1 and 2, they would have been screaming, "Boss, get him out of here, cut him," right? He ends up being a sack leader last year. So for me, I think that's kind of the game plan here is that gives Bullard, you don't have to depend on Bullard, but if he takes that step, you got versatility. And that's the other thing. Bullard can kick back and play safety in the pinch, right? Or who knows? Maybe they see it as we're not having Bullard in the slot anymore. I hope that's not the case. I felt like he played better in the slot. But we're going to go put him back there and let him battle with Evan Williams. People hear that and probably go, we'll get to it in a second. They're probably thinking, no way, Evan Williams is way better. He was in year 1. But Evan Williams could take a step back, and our boy Javon Bullard could take a huge step forward at the safety position.
I think ideally, when you talk about this cornerback room, with the departure of John Money, maybe it does better suit the Green Bay Packers that Javon Bullard just becomes a corner. Look at the safety room we have. We talk about, KT Oladapo, the depth we have back there, even at the bottom end there, Omar Brown, guys like that. We talk about
Zane Anderson,
Evan Williams, you've got safety room looks pretty damn good to me. So if Bullard excels as a slot corner, or, maybe, you never know, maybe he gets his coverage skills up and moves to the boundary himself, and it provides depth in that cornerback room and, makes things easier on the back end. You never know.
Yeah, there you go. So that is position battle number 2. Let's move it along now to number 3, and that is right guard. All right. And this is what we're hearing from, once again, Bulaga and some of these guys, is that Anthony Belton, your second round pick this year. I mean, this kind of ties in perfectly with Javon Bullard's situation last year, right? They got him on the field as a second round pick. It's hard to imagine they're going to let a second round pick on offensive line just sit on the bench. Right now, I kind of feel like that's the way it looks. But for right guard, let's say that Rasheed Walker beats out Jordan Morgan for left tackle, like I think most of us believe will probably happen at least this year. If that happens, then you got a 3-way battle at right guard: Jordan Morgan, Sean Ryan, and Anthony Belton. Now, how quickly can Anthony Belton pick up the offense? How quickly can he pick up the checks and all that timing and everything that you need? Now, we were a little concerned because he may not be in camp because of the contract. Well, now that's done. We can, we're good. We're out of the woods there. But Jordan Morgan, Sean Ryan, and Anthony Belton, at the right guard spot. If Morgan doesn't secure left tackle, he's a strong candidate for right guard, where he competed last year before an injury. Sean Ryan, a 2024 starter, faces pressure to hold his spot. Second-round rookie Anthony Belton adds intrigue, making this a three-way fight for a starting role. Now, people will say, but Anthony Belton's a tackle, Clayton. So was Jordan Morgan.
So is everyone else until they get drafted, right?
Yeah, they both were left tackles in college. And this, again, we go off precedent here. There's precedent that the Green Bay Packers, Jacob, they're not scared to take a tackle, specifically a left tackle, kick them inside and let them play guard. So what do you think about that three-way battle there, man? If it does come down to those three players, I hope Jordan Morgan wins that job and just runs away with it, puts it to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with Coach. This is a great battle. It's a really great problem to have, as he went on to say in a different comment. And these are the types of quote unquote problems that you get when you have a front office, when you have a GM like Goody, when you have people that are actually thinking a season or two or sometimes three, is which I'm sure they're doing, opposed to, I won't name any other teams, that just say we're going to win it all in the offseason this year. And then, at the end of the year, they're 3 and whatever, and they've got, $2 million in cap space left because they quote unquote went all in. I hate that phrase. I hate that terminology. There's a reason that the Packers are perpetual playoff victors and are usually in most seasons are running into the playoffs with a chance at the championship. And that's all you can do. And the reason that we are perpetually there is because we set up ourselves for success. We don't set ourselves up for failure. The fact that we've spent draft capital on Jordan Morgan and Anthony Belton, I'll be honest, at the time, I kind of rolled my eyes and thought, oh, who? I was full Snoop with a lot of those picks. But the thing is, once the dust settles and you look at the especially like right now where we have the strength in that offensive line and the depth that we have there, well, there's a reason for that, right? It didn't just come out of thin air. It's because we were due diligent with what we did and we played it smart. We played it by the books. And I think that now we're going to have a starting five. I'm going to be very confident, barring crazy amount of injuries, are going to be a better front five than we had last year. And that's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah. As Coach Lynn says here, Tim, it's always best five. Will be great to see who played well together. And that's what they're doing. Those heavy rotations, cross training, guards as tackles, tackles as guards, guards as centers, and see what really gels in camp. And that's definitely one of the things to watch for. What do you think about guard here, Tim?
Yeah, I agree with what Jacob was saying. And we all know what team you were talking about, right? They play in that city about 95 minutes south of Milwaukee. We know who you were talking about.
Windy.
Jacob, right?
Is it windy there sometimes?
Something windy or something. Yeah, exactly. But
what those city boys going to do when this rolls into town, Tim? What about that there?
There it goes.
Hey, my guy.
Love that.
Sorry.
We're making pancakes that day, baby. Let's go. Oh my gosh, Clayton, I told you, man, this is just after dinner for me. Take it easy with that one. But to Jacob's point, it's true. I mean, look at this. It's like, oh, is Jordan Morgan going to win left tackle or is he going to win right guard? Talk about a great problem to have. And then, you look at a guy like, Big Sean over here, Sean Ryan, Mr. Nacho Libre. Like, you think he's going to lay down and just give that up? Like, you remember Sean Ryan, basically kind of inadvertently redshirted his rookie season and has been playing catch up ever since. And I think for a guy who missed a lot of time as a rookie, has certainly turned into a solid option, at least on your depth chart, as a right guard. So I don't think he's going to lay down. Big Escalade, Anthony Belton, hopefully this guy pops. But, again, a rookie, we don't know. There's a lot of question marks. So to Coach Len's point as well, seeing the competition is really going to be cool. And I don't know if you guys saw the weather. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow in Green Bay. So we'll separate the men from the boys from the girls pretty quick tomorrow. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Even the fans, you'll have to watch them out there.
Yep.
They'll be dropping like flies.
I always bring a couple extra water bottles if anyone needs one. Hit me up.
Yeah, we know what you got in that water bottle. We're not stupid. break out the white lightning at over 100 degrees. Get it
straight Everclear, baby.
Yeah. So, it's funny, Jacob, as you were talking about Sean Ryan, or I think it was Tim talking about Sean Ryan's not going to lay down, I immediately thought of Rasheed Walker at left tackle. Let me give you a scenario that the casual fans are going to be so upset about if this plays out this way, and I'm going to be grinning like all get out. Imagine if Rasheed Walker wins the left tackle job and Sean Ryan runs away with the right guard spot, and you've got a first-round pick and Jordan Morgan on the bench, and a second-round pick and Anthony Belton on the bench. I have no problem with it because what Coach Lynn said is spot on. Top 5, the best 5, put them on the field. And how good do you feel that if somebody goes down, which is what happened against the Eagles, right? Somebody goes down, you got a first and a second-round pick waiting to step right in and contribute. Like I would have no problem with that scenario. Now, as someone said earlier, the best case scenario would be your first-round pick, Jordan Morgan, take that left tackle job, and Anthony Belton, your second-round pick, take that right guard job. And now you got 2 veterans coming off the bench in a contract year where there's a chance that their value will be at the lowest it's ever been. You can get them back on a team-friendly deal. I know that sounds cold-hearted towards the player, but that's how the NFL operates. So it's going to be fun watching right guard, though, man.
Yep. Just real quick, Coach Lynn was asking how hot is it going to be tomorrow in the 90s. From what I can see, definitely at least touching 90, and it's going to be more humid than you can believe. I believe there's a heat index over. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So
yeah, the heat index over 100. I've seen something, a heat index of 102.
And if you think for a second that's going to stop people from grilling brats and having a couple of daddy sodas, you got another thing coming, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see Ramage out there with his shirt tied around his head. I promise you that. No doubt about it. All right, let's move it along. Position battle number 4, safety. And I know this is going to upset some people because it feels like, look, and don't get me wrong, this is Evan Williams' job to lose. I do believe that. Evan Williams played great last year. But Evan Williams versus Javon Bullard for that other safety spot. Evan Williams, a 4th-round pick, impressed with consistency in 2024, starting 6 games. Javon Bullard, a second-rounder, struggled with injuries and positional shifts, but has high potential. Both are vying to start alongside Xavier McKinney, with Williams currently holding an edge due to his reliability. I think he started more than 6 games. They may have gotten that wrong there, but you guys can check that yourself. Nonetheless, this is Evan Williams' job to lose. I'm just saying with Javon Bullard and that upside, if he takes a huge step and comes out and beats Evan Williams out for that other safety job, as much as I love Evan Williams, I'd have no problem with Bull starting. The problem is, though, Tim, I'll start with you this time. Last year, Javon Bullard struggled at safety, man.
Yeah.
Emilio always cuts me off and defends Bullard, and I respect him for it because he's like, yeah, but how many times did he have to go back and play safety on a short week while he was training all week long to be nickel? That's a great point. But yeah. I like Evan Williams' chances just holding down the fort here. But again, you got versatility in Javon Bullard. If Hobbs gets banged up, breaks a shoelace, he can kick in there and play the slot. If Evan Williams goes out because he crapped his britches, right, then guess what? While he's changing his britches, Javon Bullard can kick back there to safety. It's nice to have that Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, we always talk about it, right? Versatility is king in the modern NFL, right? And we talk about Bullard being so good in the slot. I'm not entirely convinced that Evan Williams couldn't play in the slot like a dog. I mean, you see him near the line of scrimmage; he plays really well. I think someone else commented, I don't know if that was Coach Len in the chat, brought that up a few minutes ago, that Evan Williams near the line of scrimmage is no joke as well. So there's versatility across the board. But I'm leaning towards your opinion on the matter, Clay. I think it's E. Will's job to lose here. I love Javon Bullard, but until he can get that coverage grade up, get that footwork and those hips turning the right way and, not getting beat, then we can talk about safety. I'd prefer him, like I said, hybrid damn near Will linebacker sometimes type of guy, and playing slot corner as opposed to being on the back end, the last guy between, a receiver and a touchdown. I feel better about Evan Williams in that spot, honestly, at this point.
As Clint says in the chat here, Jacob, Evan is a smart man. He mentions FBI, obviously football intelligence. And what's crazy is I remember us breaking down his college tape and we're going, man, he's really good against the run. He's a great tackler, but how good is he going to be in coverage? He's going to be great in coverage and really, really smart football player at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate, always agreeing with each other, but I just don't think that Evan Williams is going to lose that spot. And honestly, I don't want him to, because I saw something out of Evan Williams where the FBI is a great, that football IQ for him being as young as he was, he seemed to understand the process that was happening. And the fact that he works with a guy like X that I'm sure is helping mentor these guys. Yeah. I want Javon Bullard on the field. I don't want him taking Evan Williams off the field, if that makes sense. Wherever we can stick Bullard in. Like Tim maybe highlighted there, is it certain packages where we have almost like a hybrid kind of backer slash. What do you call that position, Clay? Would you call a hybrid backer safety, or maybe a hybrid slot safety? Would you call that like a
Star, something like that? Or
Yeah, well, see, star is typically your nickel back. When you got a guy that can kind of play safety and corner, which is what Buller did last year, I refer to him as a spur safety. Now, spur is typically when you're safety, and it's kind of a college term. It's the safety that plays in the box over the tight end, typically that type of guy. But yeah, I mean, star is a good description of it as well. It's that dude that's going to play in the slot over the three, unless they go speed to three and you want to match a different type of corner on them, and then they got to be versatile enough to kick inside. Now, listen, back in the day when the Saints kind of hit their peak under Sean Payton and they had Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator, this was back in the early 2010s, I believe, maybe late 2000s. What they did was they ran a dollar set, and they had a lot of DBs. They would put 6 DBs on the field, right? And they would even play the run like that. And they could do that because 2 of those 6 DBs were actually kind of hybrid safety linebackers. That makes sense. So, yeah. Ron Sample said Williams appeared in 12 games and started 6. So they did get it right. Thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate it. So, and you know how that start is too, guys. Kind of like LVN in college. They were like, he didn't even start. It's like, bro, they did that on purpose. Like they literally, the opening snap, they had their seniors on the field, and they pulled him off, and he played every other snap. So it is kind of splitting hairs in that regard. So anything else on the safety position there, boys, on that?
Thank you, Goody, for flipping that room. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
It really did, man. Hell of a job there. Tony Holman in the chat said, you'll sweat out of places you didn't know you had tomorrow at camp. Hey, that's listen. Well, don't be ashamed to break out the nut dust. Go for the green bottle. Go for the green bottle. Go, Bond. Get the triple action. Don't waste no time. Take care of business. All right? It is terrible, Chuck. We know what it's like. All right.
Don't use that bottle when you're on the pole. That was the problem today, guys. All right.
that was the problem.
Opposite.
Got them cheeks hanging up on the pole. All right, Tim. Let's sign off. All right, number 5 here. We have got, Bates got it. He knows about the green bottle. Medicated, baby. You got it, buddy. You got it. I heard somebody talking about the other day, and they were like, man, you got to be careful with that stuff. You overload it, turns into sheetrock mud. All right.
Good Lord.
Number 5 here, we got the top 2 outside receiver spots. Pretty specific, right? Romeo Doubs versus, I'm sure the chat's out of line. Romeo Doubs. We need somebody to generate an AI image of Jacob with his cheeks stuck on the pole. That's what we need. So Romeo Doubs versus Matthew Golden versus Dontavion Wicks versus Savion Williams. All right. So Jaden Reed's a lock in the slot. I think we would all agree there. But the battle for the top outside receiver role is wide open. With Christian Watson most likely being out until November, the race is between 4 guys for 2 spots. Romeo Doubs has good hands. Dontavion Wicks, known for getting open, are veterans in the mix. Rookie first-rounder Matthew Golden brings playmaking potential, while third-rounder Savion Williams could surprise. Snaps will depend on camp performance. And we kind of talked about this with Savion. We didn't get to see him at receiver a lot at TCU when we broke down the tape because they put him everywhere. He was wildcat. He'd play in the sidecar. They use him on cheat motion, end arounds. When he did play, his contested catch rate was unbelievable. But at the same time, he had a lot of drops, just open passes that he dropped. So it's like, which one is he? To me, he's the dark horse, right? He's the guy that's probably kind of the odd man out. But I think it's going to come down to them giving him a chance with that big, what is he, 6'4", 230 pounds, 220 pounds, whatever it is. So Romeo Doubs is definitely an X, right? He'll play the X. That's on the line of scrimmage opposite the tight end, typically in a phone booth on the boundary type thing. He can win in close quarters. He's got good hands. That's his superpower. Matthew Golden, 4'2", 40, take the top off the defense. Pretty darn good at contested catching as well. Good at high pointing the ball. We've seen him late hands in college, all those things. He does really well running those outside routes as well. What we see those comebacks. Remember, Tim, he would run the inside curl.
Yep.
He would curl in, catch the ball fading toward the sideline, then jab step and cut back inside. That's an outside move, right?
Yep.
And listen, we don't want anything to happen to Jaden Reed, but if he goes down, I'm not as concerned about the slot because Dontavion Wicks has a little bit of history there. Matthew Golden can kick into the slot if you need him to, because that's what a moving Z did in Sarkisian's offense down there at Texas. I just think this is going to be a hell of a camp battle. And that's why I said don't take the ranking, the number 1 through 5, to heart here, Tim, because this battle here could be as tough as any of the other 4 we mentioned.
I absolutely agree. I mean, just reading this, top 2 outside receiver spots. Dobbs versus Golden versus Wicks versus Williams. Like this, like, I mean, are we living in a fairy tale right now? I mean, you talk about, do you think they took it serious when Scoot went down last year and they knew he was going to be out until possibly Thanksgiving? You think that this front office responded accordingly as we continue to add talent in the wide receiver room? So when it comes to the boundary, this is going to be one of the battles to watch for sure. I'm sure it's no secret. I think everyone's going to be looking at the wide receiver group from day one till the very end of training camp. And it's going to be fun to watch, particularly to your point, Clayton, Wicks and Williams, because that's going to be a battle that, if Tay Wicks doesn't take that step that we want him to take, and Savion Williams is the real deal, we might see a changing of the guard. You never know how camp shapes out.
And I'll tell you another guy we didn't mention here, Jacob, and I would not be surprised based off of his veteran presence and his experience playing with the Chiefs. What if we come out in camp and we're a week and a half in and all of a sudden Mecole Hardman is lining up in the Z and just taking the top off? That could be a thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as you guys know how much I love the underdogs, I would love if Savion Williams, because the guy is absolutely built like a brick, you-know-what house. I don't know if they would trust him with that much responsibility. I feel like they're definitely going to give a nod to a guy like Dobbs and to Wicks and to Golden just because of the pedigree. But again, you talk about a good problem to have here, man. I mean, this is just kind of unbelievable to think that we have so much talent packed in that board. And again, it is worthwhile bringing up a guy like Mecole Hardman, who a lot of people maybe see as an underdog at this point. I hate using the term casual fans, but I think a lot of casual fans think still that he is just a camp guy, just a body, and that he doesn't actually represent anything that the Packers have, it's like a future plans with this dude. I really do think that he's going to, right there. I think that he's going to surprise some people. And the best thing going for a guy like him is still to this day, that wide receiver room is incredibly young. Even the guys that have 2-3 years under their belt, I mean, that's not a lot. That's not a lot for growing into being a full-blown NFL wide receiver that understands the concepts, understands how to break down defenses, to attack those defenses. And imagine this too. A lot of these guys, I mean, even guys like Dobbs, Wicks, even Watson, when he comes back, they could make an insane jump still, and they're sealing their progression. And then imagine if one of these younger guys absolutely just come out of the gates and they're like a mid-70s PFF grade, you know what I mean, as rookies. We've got ourselves a group for a long time.
I think you highlighted one of the main reasons why they even entertained the thought of signing Mecole Hardman, is because when you have a room this deep and this young, you've got to bring in some kind of veteran leadership and some kind of stability and versatility to that room. And I think there's a legit opportunity for a guy like Hardman to be one of the 6 that ends up making this 53 when it's all said and done. But of course, camp starts tomorrow, so what the hell am I talking about? We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, and as Robert said, Love did do a 70-yard bomb to Mecole Hardman in OTAs. I remember that being one of the highlights there in OTAs. Coach Lynn says Packers aren't playing games with Wicks if he can't be more consistent. I mean, that's really what you've seen all the way across the board with these camp battles. Is Goody's just lining up another stud behind a guy. Hey, look, if you underperform again, this dude will take your spot. This dude will take your spot. I'm telling you, man, it's just
absolutely. What does that do? It raises the competition level through the roof. It's a chain reaction, right?
The rising tide raises all ships. No doubt.
What up?
His receiving is tough.
Yes. What up, Murph, in the chat? Good to see you, Murph. Good to see you in here. All right, that's it. There are your camp battles. Let's go to the chat real quick. It got out of control a little bit earlier here. As Respect Orange says, Jacob's workout routine's cracking walnuts between his cheeks. All right, got it.
I love watching you highlight that, and I know it's coming like a slow freight train.
I think you start grinning.
Son of a...
Chuck Jaggers in the chat said, I can just hear the old ladies. Jakey, JT. Yes. United Bates says better than the donkey show in Tijuana. Then Respect Orange just says poor donkey. So anyway, back to receiver. Or I'm sorry, just Packers in general. Pack fan Iowa. Good to see you, buddy. Said it is going to be an insane year. I think everyone is way underestimating the Packers this year. We should be a damn good and right at the top of the league. Not a lot of holes. Completely agree with that, man. Completely. And I love it. I'm telling you, the Detroit Lions fans, we did that little injury update where they're kind of riddled with injuries. They've been in the YouTube comments all day. It's amazing how they find a Packers show to comment. Yeah. But anyway, bro, they are so cocky. And I'm loving it. It's going to be so glorious when they fall flat on their face. Bro.
You remember when Carrington Valentine made his little post and said, "Hey, if you're hating on me now or you're doubting me now, don't show up later when I shock the world." That's what this Packers team is. There's a lot of shade and a lot of sleeping on this young Packers team. But I think we have a legitimate shot this year, guys. Like Pack fan and I was saying, like, very little to zero holes so far. But again, it's early, things happen, but feel real good about our football team at this point of the year, right?
Yeah, definitely. Dan Fish says our wide receiver room is so deep, I don't see anyone getting a second contract next year. Dobbs and Watson are the ones on the last year of their rookie contract. That could be the case, Dan Fish. I personally would like to have Watson back if he proves okay. He's just as effective with the knee, the restructured knee and everything. But that wouldn't surprise me if they just said, you know what, let them both walk and just roll it on through. That could happen. So there you go. All right, let's get to the last topic here. Y'all got one more in you, boys?
Yes.
All right, so Green Bay Packers tweeted this out. Love it. Tom's staying in town.
Pay that man his money.
He did, right? So projecting the Zach Tom cap allocation. All right, I've been literally hitting refresh. You know that meme that everybody uses with all the old people on the slot machine just hitting the button constantly, right? I've been doing that all day long on Spot Track trying to get the cap allocation for Zach Tom. Now, obviously, it's not came down the pocket. I actually just checked it again right before I pulled this up on the screen. But we got a little bit of information from Spoon, Tom Silverstein over there. He said Packers set Zach Tom's base salary at $1.2 million in 25. So his salary cap number will be around $7.4 million. Puts Packers slightly more than $31 million under the cap. Plenty of room to do another extension or two, or be a player in acquiring a veteran through trade. Now, I don't think it's going to be that last part. I know a lot of people commented on this tweet and was like, Trey Hendrickson, we're going to get Trey Hendrickson. I'm going, y'all are setting yourselves up to be disappointed. I'm just telling you. Could it happen? Yes. I'm not ruling it out completely. But the fact that they took that tweet and just immediately thought we're getting Trey Hendrickson, it's a wild, wild assumption. But you guys remember last night we said expect his cap number to go up from that $3.5 million, and they'll probably try to front load it a little bit with some cap, right? Well, that's exactly what they did. Now, I want to compare this to Elton Jenkins' contract before, okay? And this is kind of hard for you guys to read. I'll give you the numbers. So Elton Jenkins' rookie contract when he came in the league starting in 2019, his cap hit 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, and it was set to be, I believe, 4.7 because of the performance escalator, okay, the performance bonus. Now, notice that's crossed out, and the reason being is they reached an extension, and now keep in mind it was supposed to be $4 million cap hit, right? And I'm going somewhere with this, so hang with me. So what they did was in 2022, they actually jumped that cap hit up to $9 million flat. So that's what I'm talking about is they'll actually increase that first-year cap hit rather than just keep it at that 4 and backload it. They put a little extra on the front to make it a little more palatable on the backside. What's the byproduct? The Elton Jenkins situation right now where the majority of the guaranteed money is gone now, and they're able to cut bait next year and free up $20 million. As you can see here, the cap hit is $24.8 million next year for Elton Jenkins, and the dead cap attached will be $4.8 million. Now, why am I bringing that up? This is kind of a little bit of a projection on Zach Tom. Remember what Spoon said. This lines up perfectly with how they did Elton Jenkins. Zach Tom, his cap hit this year is going to be around $7.4 million. So when you look at Zach Tom's rookie contract, $831K, $996K, he jumped to $1.1 million, then got the escalator of a little over $3 million, right? Whatever it is, $3.6 million, I think is what the number is. So notice that's crossed out now, right? And they put over on Spot Track the estimated cap hit of the same 3.5. But now Spoon is confirmed, and you guys know Spoon is lockstep, pretty well plugged into the front office. They pretty much confirmed it's going to be about $7.5 million cap hit. So we nailed it, boys. That's the reason I'm bringing this up. It looks like that cap is going to jump from 3.5 to 7, still very, very palatable, or to 7.5. Very palatable this year. You still will leave yourself with roughly $31 million in cap space to do whatever you need to do, another extension or two, or if the right situation arises, you can go and trade for someone or sign a free agent. We still don't have the rest of the numbers, but this is a pretty good guesstimate here, guys, of how Zach Tom's contract's going to look. Is Elgton Jenkins' second one, not to a T, but notice that first year, $9 million. The second year on the contract looks like it fell back to $6 million. So it actually went backwards a little bit in year 2, but then year 3 blipped to 14.4 cap hit, 17.6, then 24.8. Expect it to be somewhere in that ballpark with Zach Tom. Significantly more guaranteed money, obviously, as Elgton Jenkins' guarantee was $24 million. Zach Tom's was $30 million. I think it's going to be real close. But the point is here, Tim and Jake, I want to get your all's take. Russ Ball, this is how he works these contracts, right? This is how they structure them. So expect Zach Tom's contract, his cap hits, to look somewhat similar to this, just a little bit higher in that regard. Not in year 1, it's actually lower. So pretty cool. What do y'all think about it?
I guess the question is, what do you think? What do you think they're going to do for Big E here? You think it's going to be roster bonus? You think it's going to be workout bonus? How are they going to rework this or restructure this deal for him?
Yeah, I personally think they're going to give him a little more actual guaranteed if they do work it. Now, here's the thing. They may not touch it, Tim. Now, he's in-house. We got confirmation that Packers tweeted out a picture of everybody walking in. He's in camp right now. He'll probably do a hold-in, I would imagine, wanting a little guarantee. So, Tim, I think what you would do if you looked at his current contract this year in particular, right, he's basically wanting a little bit of guaranteed money for the next 2 years. So what you got is $11.7 million in base salary this year, and then you got 18.5 next year. He's probably going to want a little chunk of that in guaranteed money. So I said before, why not cut him a check for $5 million, right? Just say, all right, let's convert a chunk of it to $5 million guaranteed, and maybe take $2 or $3 million off the base salary. So you give him cash for cap space. Right, not the cap space, and they may not even go that route, but I think it's more along the lines of converting some of that base salary to signing bonus, Tim.
So you lower the cap hit, and then you also make Big E happy and give him some guaranteed money. Makes sense,
right? But you what you lose here though with that is your inability to cut bait next year and free up $20 million in cap space. You would probably end up spreading that out. Let's say he plays hardball and he wants $10 million guaranteed, right? So you're looking at another $5 million this year, another $5 million next year. That's going to increase his dead cap to somewhere around $10 million. They still could cut him because that $10 million would still free up $14 million in cap space, theoretically speaking, if the contract worked out just like that. If you approach it that way, you can still cut bait with him. But why would Big E want that deal knowing they can still cut bait? Because he's going to get an extra $5 to $10 million in his pocket. That's security.
Show me the money, right?
Right. Yeah. What do you think, Jake?
I've been a Packer fan long enough to know that I don't know anything about the cap, and that I trust it to the guys in the front office, and that while everybody's running around with their hair on fire, screaming that the sky is falling, I'll just sit down, light a cigar, and just wait for the announcement. There you go. Thanks, Timmy. I just wait for the announcement to come out and say all of a sudden, Packers announced that they just signed Elgton Jenkins to a crazy good deal, and then we look at the incentives, the base, the guaranteed, and it ends up being a team friendly or at least an acceptable deal. So that's what I'm going to do. We heard it with the Rodgers going back there. We heard it with Aaron Jones. We heard it with all these different players over the years. And at the end of the day, they seem to make it happen. I think that if you look at a guy like Zach Tom, that's the epitome of what it means to just be patient, to understand that you've shown what you can do on the football field, and to have trust in the organization is going to repay you for your troubles, and is actually going to make sure that if they do value and the type of player you are, you're going to get your money. You just got to not sit there and smack the ground and, scream and cry and cuss and get the media involved. That's not a way to do it in Green Bay. And I think that Zach Tom's shown that quite a bit.
I agree. And I think that's a credit to Elgton Jenkins and how he's handling this situation himself, right? He's made it clear his position. He's done nothing more than that. He's been a part of minicamp, OTAs. He's been around the facility. It's it's a technicality, right? So you love to see that attitude. Clayton, you were talking about glue guys. I think Elton Jenkins is a glue guy as well. They just need to iron out some specifics here and make this make sense going forward the next couple of years.
Yeah, and listen, everybody's free to fan how they want to fan, but there were minimal comments, but there were some comments going, I wouldn't pay him anything extra. Just let him walk, let him sit. I'm going, this is a young offensive line. Elton Jenkins is the veteran in the room, and we've got an opportunity, a unique opportunity, I feel like, to improve at the center position. Yep. And the reason that I'm okay with giving him some more guaranteed money is because if you guys listen to the show, this is what I've been talking about for the last 2 years, complaining, going, man, Myers is not it. Josh Myers is not a good football player. Love the dude. The team loves him, and he's a great guy, and he's one of those, he's a good locker room guy. But, man, you turn on the tape, and it was just hard to watch, especially on Duo.
Terrible.
So with that being said, you got an opportunity to improve the center position while adding Aaron Banks, who's been steady Eddie, grading out 65, and his versatility, his size. So you beef up the offensive line, you get veteran leadership in the center position, and Elton. You want to see somebody run Duo? Watch Elton get. He gets the second level, and again, how you arrive at confrontation determines how you handle confrontation. He arrives at confrontation ready to stick a boot in somebody's ass.
And right? Goody teaching a master class in roster formation, right? You kick Big E to center, and you turn around and you grab Aaron Banks, and you take 0 step back at left guard. You don't miss a beat at all. I mean, It's awesome.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this? Is the second night in a row that Mr. Alex T, and I'm not trying to hate on you, sir, but he's made this comment almost verbatim. He says, I believe in the players, but not the head coach and the coaching staff on the offense and defense. The chat's already letting us
sit your butt outside.
No, we're not going to do that. He was polite.
Completely disagree with that. Frequently. Like, I just think that's I'd like to hear your rationale on that. And I won't, again, we're not trying to attack you or anything. I just think that's very, I don't understand the basis of that comment whatsoever.
Right. And listen, I want to be real clear. As long as nobody's rude in disagreeing, I have no problem with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's what we're here for. We're all trying to figure it out together. I know Jacob agrees, Tim agrees. But when I look at the coaching staff, you got to start with Matt LaFleur, right? And I want to give a shout out to Rob Westerman. I seen him in the chat. Appreciate you, buddy, dropping in. We're going to hook up here soon and actually do a pod together. I'm really, really excited about that. So Matt LaFleur is one of the all-time winningest coaches in the history of the National Football League. And all we heard was, well, it was all Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, Aaron Rodgers has been gone for 2 years. And what did Matt LaFleur did? All Matt LaFleur did was make the playoffs 2 years in a row. The only 2 years without Aaron Rodgers. He missed the playoffs the last year with Aaron Rodgers, with a broken thumb and this and that. So you replaced a Hall of Fame quarterback. And then on top of that, your starting quarterback pretty much missed 3 games last year. And you put together in short order a game plan for a guy that you traded a 7th-round pick for. And, okay, you could say, okay, Clayton, yeah, he's winning games, but that's not everything. We are literally top 5 and top 10 in every offensive category. So Matt LaFleur, he's got the wins. He's done it with 3 different quarterbacks now, right?
With the youngest roster.
Yes, the team stats are there. So check it off the list. Now let's move on to the defensive side. Jeff Hafley. All Jeff Hafley did was produce the second best. What was it? Yes, I think it was the second best run defense in the league.
Yes.
And he had the 7th or 8th best passing defense in terms of EPA per drop back. Scoring defense, top 10. Turnovers, top 3 in forcing turnovers, right? Like, again, I hate answering questions like that when I know I'm going to disagree because it sounds like I'm trying to prove them wrong, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just simply giving my opinion. I don't know how you can look at what Matt LaFleur's done and say he's not a good coach, and look at what Jeff Hafley did in 1 year. Guys, he may stink it up this year, and we feel totally different. That's possible. I doubt it, but that's possible. I'm telling you, man, I think the coaching staff is excellent. And what I love about it is they're not complacent. Like, people, what's the number one knock on Matt LaFleur other than he's too pretty? People say it all the time. Man, he just looks
I don't know, man. Look at that picture, man. That do-rag looks a little questionable.
Yeah, that looks like 3 nights in jail right there.
Yeah, he ain't that purty.
But the big knock, in my opinion, is he's too emotional on the sideline. He's too this and that. That I agree. You got to kind of temper that down a little bit. But at the same time, that doesn't look like a man that's complacent. It looks like a guy striving for excellence, right? And Jeff Hafley brings a good, calm, cool demeanor as well. So they could prove me wrong, Alex. They could prove me wrong. Might look up at the end of the year and go, man, both these coaches are trash all of a sudden. I don't see a scenario where that happens because I don't think they're going to get complacent. And the roster is a little bit older this year, even though we lost Jair Alexander. I feel like you adding, 3 veterans, at least 3 veterans, probably more than that when you really break down the roster. But you add in Nate Hobbs, veteran, Aaron Banks, veteran, young veterans, but they're veterans, and Mecole Hardman, veteran. I think this team is probably going to be somewhere between, if I had to guess, 10 to 13 wins is where I would put them in that range. And the closer they get to 13 early in the year, I'm going to be screaming, we might be reaching 14. Now, you got to stay healthy. Guys got to execute all this coach speak that we always hear. But, yeah, I respectfully disagree, Alex, but we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you swinging through for sure. Anything else that you guys want to hit on here? Yeah, Packer Up, it crossed my mind too, but man, I like to trust people. I like to believe people until they give me a reason not to believe them. I'll just leave it at that. But that is a common occurrence. As the channel grows, you guys would not believe how many people I've just said block from the channel because you find out they're Bears fans and Lions fans. Lions fans are hilarious, man. The thing that cracks me up about Lions fans is, and I roasted a pretty prominent one last year on X, and it blew up pretty handily. But this guy released the video. We'll wrap up with this. He released the video saying, yeah, Packer fans are finally going to see what it's like to be at the bottom. And we'll see if you're real fans like we are. And I literally had to hit him with the receipts. I'm like, hey, bub, look at the attendance. The first year that Dan Campbell was your head coach, this is his first full year, Dan Campbell. Right? Mr. Y'all have always loved Dan Campbell, right? The first year Dan Campbell was head coach, you were dead last in average attendance. Dead last. And then you start winning. Oh, look, all of a sudden, damn, I didn't know Eminem was a fan. Look at this. Eminem's a super fan as soon as they start winning. So,
and winning, by winning, you mean basically nothing, correct? They haven't won anything. Nothing. So let's be real.
That's like Bears fans when they come in and they run. I'm go, okay, let's just run through the gauntlet.
Yeah, keep hanging those divisional banners.
Who has more wins all time? The Green Bay Packers. Who has more head-to-head wins all time? The Green Bay Packers do. Who has more NFL championships? Green Bay Packers got 13. They do, right? Who has more Super Bowl championship, trophies? The Green Bay Packers do. Hell, let's break it down to NFC championships. It's named after your coach. The Green Bay Packers have more. You have literally nothing as a Bears fan to hang over the Packers other than you beat the Packers in Lambeau last year when we pulled our starting quarterback, lost our number one receiver to an ACL, and weren't playing half of our starters. That's what you have. And you beat us by 2 points, I think. So, listen, if a Patriots fan came in here and said, our franchise is better than yours, they got an argument. They got an argument for the level of success they've had, right? The Kansas City Chiefs, AFAM, if he ever comes out of the closet and says he's a real Chiefs fan, whoever does that, listen, I got to tip my cap, man. They're on top of the world right now. I'm not a delusional fan. But boy, oh boy, when Bears and Lions fans come here and try, and it's even better when Vikings fans do. It's like, show me that trophy case, Hoss. Like, just like the Lions, you have won 0 championships.
Their trophy case looks like the display model you see at the store because it's just empty. There's nothing.
Just a little dustier, right, Tim?
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else, boys?
Just one last thing. What do you guys think? I think I saw in the chat, maybe Coach Len or a few others, just saying that another close camp battle that they would like to see that maybe should have made that list. And I agree. Running back number 2 and number 3, just how that's going to pan out.
That's going to be good.
Between Lloyd, Wilson, why am I still blanking? Brooks.
I think those are the 2 guys, right? How many are we going to carry? And who's
and that's
going to be 2 and who's going to be 3? You're right. It's going to be fun to watch.
I love that you bring that up, Jacob, because like Marshawn Lloyd that was Daniel Jeremiah's best running back in the draft. And people forget that. Like, he was like, this is the top running back in the draft. And obviously he got hurt and he's got to prove he can stay healthy. But Emmanuel Wilson, man, like, we're liable to have the best running back room in the entire league. That's a real possibility, man. And especially if, I don't think it's going to happen, but I mentioned it yesterday, and I got a couple comments about it, and they were positive comments. But it's like, what if we all of a sudden just came out, just a handful of packages, and run Baylor splits, and literally just open everything up for Josh Jacobs running against a five-man box? Oh my God, dude! Emmanuel Wilson
talked about that, right? Running out of passing sets, spread them out, and just pound that rock, inside zone, outside zone, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. If you want to remember what that looked like, do yourself a favor. When you lay that head on that pillow tonight, just go to YouTube and go, I'm going to fall asleep to Eddie Lacy highlights. That's what it was like.
It's so
we
fun.
Would spread it out and, run the draw play.
Speaking of running game and talking about Josh Jacobs, this immortalized photo from last year.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu retired today from the NFL. So we gotta give him a salute and show our respect for I mean, I'm a defensive guy, man. Tyrann Mathieu was fun to watch in his prime, man. So got to salute him. But at least we'll have the stiff arm from last season forever. Thank you.
Yeah. I think people have cracked the code, and I agree, Tim, completely. I put a tweet out and said nothing but respect for the Honey Badger. Hell of a way for Josh Jacobs to send him out, though.
Yeah.
Right. People mentioning Omer in the chat. I'm wondering if maybe they're thinking that might be old Mr. Never mind. But go ahead, Jake.
I'm calling your mom. I'm going to call AFAM's mom. I'm going to call Omer's mom. We're getting them all.
Last quarter battle, and I completely agree. Brenton Cox Jr., Kingsley Enagbare, Baron Sorrell. To see who's going to be that like number 3/4 edge player.
I got to be honest, man. It would take a lot for Baron Sorrell to unseat Brenton Cox Jr. for me. Brenton Cox Jr.
What about Kingsley? You think he could be? Because I'm talking the 3 and the 4, kind of.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think they could. But I will say this about Kingsley Enagbare, man. They really, really like Kingsley Enagbare. You know, he got 500 snaps last year. So I don't just all of a sudden think that's going to. I hope it changes because I think Brenton Cox Jr. deserves to be that guy with 500 snaps. So with that being said, Jacob, I understand what you're saying. You're basically saying, what about Enagbare versus Sorrell, right?
Basically,
it's going to be tough because again, look at how they've handled rookie pass rushers in the past, right? I mean, Lucas Van Ness was the 13th overall pick, and they wasn't just willing to march him out there and give him a bunch of snaps. So I can't imagine a 4th round edge rusher. They would give him a lot of snaps. I think number 3 should be Brenton Cox Jr., although it might end up being Enagbare, and number 4 should be Enagbare, and kind of flip those two. I think Baron Sorrell is going to be one of those guys that he's probably going to be in maybe the 120 snap range. Now, that being said, Tim, it's another thing to watch in camp. Baron Sorrell might step into camp and just start kicking everybody in the rear end, dude.
Exactly. And you see how quick things change, rapidly sometimes in camp. Guys, they cramp up or they, whatever it takes for you to miss a day of reps, and all of a sudden somebody else steps up and they're on the highlight reels and we're looking at it on our Twitter feeds all day long. It could happen. And then, you talk about these 3 preseason games, an opportunity for guys like that to step up and really show what they can do in, simulated game speed. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. You got anything else, Jacob? Anything else you want to hit on, Bo?
I think that'd be good for me. What about you, Tim?
I'm good to go, man. I'm going to get some sleep, get up bright and early. Might have me one of them 9 a.m. bratwursts or something before training camp,
Tim, so you are definitely going, right? Because like we talked about, Mr. Rob Westerman was in the chat. I believe he did say that he is going to the practice tomorrow, and I think I saw Ron Sanville may be going as well. So I'm not sure if you guys maybe want to hook up and maybe give us some sideline action there,
For sure. I'll be outside the wire all day. I won't be in line for the seats. I'll be trying to get a spot along the fence, monitoring our defense, So look for me on the south end zone. I'll be out there.
Tim going to be out there like Ricky Bobby's daddy at the races watching outside because he got thrown out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Ron Sample says, hot in them porta potties
Man,
too.
Ron knows the truth. You better hurry up. Make it quick if you're using those.
I got to find this meme real quick. keep talking for just a second. This made me think of something.
Coach was saying for Tim to get some video. You guys, if you are new to the program here, Tim is usually there, usually busting out the sweat. Do you wear like the bucket hat, Tim? Like the scout bucket hat with the little fans on the front?
I got to get a Packer one, like a sun hat or something. But yeah, I'll be out there doing my best to stay as cool as I can. But
are you able to get some videos?
Some video that we're not supposed to take. There's not supposed to be video taken. You didn't hear it from me. It's not my video. Somebody gave it to me.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jacob. You good?
No, do you got what you need?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what I immediately thought of when he mentioned the porta potty. This is my favorite meme going on the internet. I'm sure you guys have seen it 1,000 times. Me pooping in 130-degree porta john in the field and hearing a knock. I'm in here, brother. If you have never worked construction, or in AFAM's case, I shouldn't say
if you've never worked.
If you've never worked in a porta john. Boy, oh boy, the porta john on a hot summer day make you appreciate a gas station bathroom.
Oh man! Shout out to that lovely BP just south of the Ray Nitschke Field in the Hudson Center. By the way, here they got air conditioning if you need it.
You walk into that porta john looking like this, and you come out looking like that. You know what I'm saying? Every time.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
Right. All right. This show sucks. Let's get out of here. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Y'all are awesome. And again, shout out to our newest member, Greg. You guys make sure this week we're going to be giving away a really, really cool piece of memorabilia donated by Rick Kruger, one of our awesome listeners. It's an autographed rookie card, Dontavion Wicks. Really, really cool piece of memorabilia there. So anyone who is a member on YouTube, all right, just hit that join tab. If you're a member here on YouTube or you're a member in our Patreon group, I would recommend go to the Patreon group, get extra content, all that good stuff, get a chance to enter into our fantasy football league as well. It's patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We're going to be giving away that autographed Dontavion Wicks card this Saturday or Sunday. We've been doing them on Sunday here lately. We may kick it out on Saturday, but tomorrow's the first day of camp. Really excited about that. We will be back tomorrow evening, unless if I get home early and like some kind of crazy news breaks, you may see one of my quick little live streams, but we'll still be going live at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. What we're going to do is give you guys offensive updates and defensive updates from the first open practice at training camp. Tim will be there. So, Tim, stay hydrated out there, man. And stay away from Ramage. Y'all end up in the clink together. You know what I'm saying?
No, we'll stop at Stadium View for a brew and some curds at some point for sure. But, yeah, it's going to be a hot one tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing everyone out there braving the elements for sure.
Definitely. And if this is your first time tuning into PTA, thank you all for making us a part of your evening. Make sure you hit like, subscribe. That way you know every time we go live throughout the season. Coach Lynn says, great show. Go get them tomorrow, Packers. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach. Everybody in the chat, y'all are awesome, and y'all make this show what it is. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.